Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review of Eden Zero Chapter 75. And yeah, I can't lie, after doing so many weeks of just straight of just straight like pretty much videos in regards to the 12 days of anime I've been doing, it feels a little it suddenly feels a little off. It feels a little weird. Feels a little weird, I guess, in order to return to regular reviews. But hey, it's probably just it's probably just that extra workload or something. But I'm taking on. But yeah, it's one of those things where it feels strange in order to just do a regular review now or something like that. But yeah, but with that said, like I said, I'm bringing you my review of Eden Zero Chapter 75. And so first off, let's talk let's talk about the setup of this chapter, because one thing I really liked in this chapter is that is the battle going on right now is basically being fought on two fronts, yet still it's still pretty much tied together wonderfully. Like first we have the battle with V, which was temporarily put on hold, like from next to Sabir's smoke screen in favor of and of course getting, which was done for the purpose of getting Weiss like medical aid. Then on the other hand, we have Rebecca rushing with the medicine to help Weiss, but before being before even being confronted by Sylph. And a couple of things to for sure to expand on this concept, because this right here is just in the way that Mashima had set this whole thing, this chapter up, with the battle being fought on two fronts. This was just an amazing setup in the sense where the first thing that the battle with Fee being halted shows is Shiki's willingness to abandon a fight in favor of in favor of getting Weiss medical attention. Like that in itself, it shows Shiki's very subtle development and shows he is developing as a leader. It's basically it's only a small thing, but within that small thing, it does show how his character has grown. Like he basically he willingly, like the moment Sabir showed up, he willingly pretty much followed him and abandoned the pretty much fight with basically Fee. If this had been like from Shiki all the way back in the beginning of the series, he probably he might have pretty much still fought. I think I still fought, or maybe he probably would have still continued to fight, but because Shiki has started to understand this responsibility, as he completely abandoned the fight in favor of getting Weiss help. So yeah, a lot of great development there. Second, the fact that Sylph has already appeared moments after Rebecca was pretty much leaving. It was basically leaving the Eden Zero on her pod or her spaceship or whatnot. It gives us a greater indication of how quick and coordinated the four elements are in their attack. With Rekka already being confronted by Sylph, it shows that even when they're not, even when the four elements aren't together, they can still work in a very coordinated way, and they pretty much have this it's almost like they have this instinctual thing of let's of basically what to do in order to help each other, whether willingly or not. And jumping off from that point, one thing I really liked about this chapter as well is how Mashima is on the other angle. Mashima did showcase very well the coordinated teamwork communication of the Eden Zero crew as a whole as well, and when we pretty much have that whole scene on the Eden Zero ship with them doing all these little things of basically pretty much Hermit and Rebecca on the communicators, while pretty much Ivory is like is interrogating is basically interrogating like pretty much Maria, and then we have like and then we have Witch like running some kind like basically running like pretty much pretty much the whole thing in general. It again it shows like everything that was going on in this chapter. It was presented in a way where there was no wasted actions. Everything that every character was doing had a purpose. Even something as goofy and slightly disconnected as Ivory's whole pretty much interrogation of Marie felt like it served a purpose in the narrative of what's going on. And the medicine itself is kind of cool because it introduces us to the idea of items being created from ether gear powers, and I do like how something as simple like this kind of shows us that Mashima is taking ideas he's previously used in his other series and honestly improved on the concept. And I'm curious how he plans to expand on this idea. Like I think we might have seen something like this before. I don't know, but it is going to be interesting in order to see him kind of expand on this idea that pretty much ether gear powers can be kind of like can be translated into pretty much can be transferred into like physical objects and whatnot. So yeah, it reminds me a little of the whole concept of base. Like I assume that with that energy drink, so to speak, it's like a one-time thing. But again, it's something small that trues. It kind of reminds me a little of the what was it of the of the it reminds me of the what was that one of the Daedalus arc of Fairy Tail, like the concept of magic being like items. It's kind of similar to that idea, but it's still. It's kind of similar to that idea, but he's transferred it over to this series. So, in that sense, it is a cool idea. And while we're on the concept of let's kind of talk about the interrogation itself, because Ivory points out that Maria isn't human. Now, there's two possibilities here. One, I'm kind of immediately already throwing in the trash because. I'm kind of already immediately throwing in the trash because only because everything we've seen of Maria thus far doesn't really support that, which is that Maria is an android or a robot or a machine. That is something I'm immediately throwing out because everything we've seen thus far of her doesn't necessarily support that. And even the character design herself of Maria, it doesn't say she's like. It doesn't scream like that. She's a machine. Like the gunslinger guy is more of a machine than she is. But the second one, and the one I'm definitely more leaning into, is that she's like a slime or goo creature of some kind, which again is not only it's one of those things where not only is the more likely scenario, considering her full name is Maria Slime. But Mashima, in general, has proven he loves his wordplay, so yeah, just the fact that her name is Maria Slime, it pretty much kind of gives it away. Like, yeah, I think she is a slime monster of some kind. But one thing I am curious about is what kind of slime monster she is. If it's going to be a case where once Maria like drops her guard, she's going to be like this basically big lumbering like. This big lumbering like blobbing mass, or if they're going a little by the like pretty much humanoid slime kind of route, something like that, like humanoid kind of slime, like she's pretty much a slime creature with still like a humanoid shape of some kind. I think that might be the that might be the route that Masha was going with this, but yeah, so. Like it's one of those things that's kind of interesting because it introduces us to it's expanding on the world itself and giving us like another alien race, I guess you could say. And yeah, the chapter ends with Sylph and Rebecca pretty pretty much preparing in order to engage in a space aerial dogfight, which, yeah, I could not be more excited for, because fight setups like this always have the potential to be the most dynamic and engaging, even more so than your standard from just 1v1 fights. So yeah, I'm excited for next week, and I hope Mashima takes full advantage. Although considering it is Sylph who's the element of wind engaging Rebecca that the Rebecca's going up against, he'll probably take it beyond like the normal bounds. Like hell, just the fact that this fight is happening in space is already taking it like beyond the normal bounds. And yeah, I'm really happy in order to see him actually kind of. I'm really happy in order to see Mashima just kind of take advantage of the space setting he's created. It like again, I like the fact that I like the whole planets and whatnot, but it's kind of fun when we kind of take advantage of the space setting that Mashima has created for sure. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Lister Crunchyroll. That night of me, signing off. Later, guys.